Okay. All right, welcome everybody. We will go ahead and start this meeting. My name is Dave Howard. I'm your president of GCCI. And with us today is Jerry Stevenson, who's our vice president, Isabel Peterson, who's our conservation expert. We have Dick Richards, who's our water guy. And we have Mike DeRosa, who's a recent new board member, and Glenn Legas, another new addition. And Ron's coming in. Good. Okay.
Terry.
And Terry back there. Sorry, she's our secretary. Okay. Okay. Can we get some introductions of the folks that are in here? Maxine.
I'm Maxine Brown.
Okay.
Pleasure being back.
Great. Yes.
Dave Owens, I'm here to help work with communications.
Okay.
Rita Dozell.
Okay.
Scott Kramer from KRWB-FM.
Oh, good.
Public Radio.
Welcome,
yeah.
Scott. Welcome.
Mike Lupino, just a resident.
Okay. And online we have, did you bring Ron in? I just.
I brought him in.
Okay. On board we have Julie Nelson. Can you tell us where you live in Gold Canyon, Julie?
I live in EDO. Just moved
EDO.
out here in
Okay.
June with my husband.
Great.
Excellent.
And Andrew, Mr. Cash, are you available? Can you tell us where you live in Gold Canyon? Well, we might have
Not really.
stepped
Okay,
away.
that's fine.
We've got Ron Vibber, who's
Still joining. I'm sure he's got two connections.
yeah. Ron is a member of our transportation committee with Jerry. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to give a brief oh, here it is. I'm going to give a very brief president's report. This is our annual meeting. According to our bylaws, we were supposed to have our annual meeting last month, but it didn't work out because everybody was off traveling. So everybody seems to be back now. So we just want to give an update of what's happened in the prior year. And we're going to also have elections of some board members going for the next cycle. So I'm just going to touch on the major issues that we accomplished this year, and then the committee chairs are going to give a more in-depth report out. As far as community planning, we completed a draft community plan, which is under review by the county and other groups in the area. We're also constantly monitoring the county for actions that affect Gold Canyon to make sure that we're in the know of what's going on to us. In the transportation realm, Jerry will talk in more depth, but they continue to interface with the county and ADOT and a multitude of traffic issues that affect Gold Canyon. Parks and Rec, Dale McKinney, who's not with us this evening. I think he's in Oregon visiting grandkids. But he has been busy coordinating with the county to establish some official bike lanes, especially on Don Donnelly. He's got some markings there, which is hopefully will help with the safety issue there. We were very supportive of the new regional park, the Peralta Regional Park. We had one of our board meetings out there, and we also signed up to help to clean up occasionally there at the park with the county. Dale also worked very hard to put together there's a web page on our website which lists a lot of resources for hiking and biking and other outdoor recreation activities in the area. So that was one of his major items that he wanted to tackle this year. Conservation side, Isabel will be talking in more detail, but the main thing that she did is she submitted an 85?
80 something.
80 plus page document to the Dark Sky International, which was our official application to become a dark sky community. That's just the first step. We still have a lot to do. It'll probably take another year or two for us to get the official designation, but we're off and running on that. And Isabel will be talking more about that. Water conservation, this is Dick's baby. We've been, this year we worked with the AZ Water Company, which is the company that supplies water to our community. And we established a water conservation program. It's called Water More Precious Than Gold. And they've been very helpful. They have set up a Facebook page and a web page, and we have quarterly meetings that they hold that talks about a variety of subjects. In fact, next month on December 9th, I believe, we've got one of our quarterly workshops, and I've got the flyer back there with more information. And it's going to be about
Irrigation.
the irrigation in your home, how to deal with the leaks and all that stuff. So that should be a very informative effort. And Dick may be talking later about, he's really concerned about the larger water issues, not just, do we have enough water here, but the Colorado River and all these other issues there. Being a former geologist, that's his passion. So he's going to be working on that a little bit later. As far as community relations go, we established this community center. One of the things in the survey, when we surveyed the community, people were saying, gee, we need a place for the community to come together as a community. So this space became available, and we bit the bullet and decided to take this on. So we've set this up, and we're just getting it up and running. We've been reaching out to the Homeowners Association, introducing GCCI. Terry has been very active on getting us connected with the HOAs. We've met with, I don't know, about 5, 6 of them so far.
We got 8, 9.
Oh, 8. Okay. So, and we plan to do more as people come back to spend the winter with us. And we constantly work with Pinal County to communicate items of interest that we have from the community. I personally go to the Board of Supervisors meeting a lot whenever there are agenda items that affect us. And so we have they have a visual of Gold Canyon at those meetings. And those are very important because it puts a face to them and the other board members of Gold Canyon. So that's the major accomplishments we have. Later on, we're going to be electing some board members. So what I'd like to do right now is turn it over to Jerry, and you can give the transportation report.
Great.
Let me bring it up.
Thanks, Dave. Good to see you. Rita, I remember you from meeting with Jerry Byrne on some hot spots up there. And I've been working with Phil Corcoran and Betty. I heard a lot about you, and Scott, welcome back. And hi in the back there. I've been in Gold Canyon for about 14 years. I live in Mountain Brook. And one of the earliest, at the beginning, there was a couple hot spots, and one was transportation. And I'm a project guy, so I said, oh, let's fix it. So I've been on that journey for 3 or 4 years. And today I'm going to just give you a quick update on what we've done and where we're headed. And the major Is it coming up or is it gone?
I'm having
Uh,
problems.
Anyway, we,
There it is.
yeah,
All right, yeah.
you just have to,
I don't think I'm sharing.
No.
The people online, can you see this?
no, you can't, no, we're not, I'd see it if you
Oh,
were,
you can't
if you're
see
not
it. Okay,
sharing it.
all right.
We deal a lot with the county because that's, local roads. They've got the resources, whether you need, signage fixed or roads fixed. There's also a study going on, which we'll get into in a little bit, on Gold Canyon, the focus of Gold Canyon on our traffic issues. I've also spent a lot of time with ADOT, and so it's a team. They'll go through the team members as well. Because 60 and those major intersections have really been problematic with the Renaissance Fair and everything. So it's one of those things that you have to have a long-term view, a lot of patience, and you know, it's hard to get across our issues because there's 1,800 other communities that ADOT has to satisfy. And the way we get it done is through people and contacts, as Dave said, and also our ear to the ground where we were at Superstition Foothills on the weekend and talking about that intersection at Superstition and Don Donnelly, where there's been lots of accidents. And I said, well, that's something that there's got to be ways to remediate that, you know, whether it's a right-hand turn lane or circle or whatever. I'm not here to problem solve, but that's something the county can get on. And why their hands and get some design work done. So that's kind of our MO as a committee, is to work on hotspots and things that come up. And there was obviously the big one in Sleepy Hollow. And, you know, we're trying to be in the middle where we can help and focus on priorities, because the county in particular, they've got so many demands. And if we're up there and we have a relationship with them, as Dave and I do, you know, things get done. And they're very efficient and effective. In a lot of cases, you know, we're not the ones who know exactly what's going on in each neighborhood. So our problem is more getting a feel for the community. Not our problem, but it'd be great if a better system of prioritizing things so we could get it to them. And that's what we're trying to do. So did we get up? Oh, there it is. Okay. So why don't we
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go to the next, okay, can you see that online?
I'm sharing.
Okay. I
Yes,
think
we can. We can see it.
Okay, great, thanks. So as Dave said, this community plan, which we've worked on for a long time with ASU, is pivotal to the future of Gold Canyon, to get what we want in front of the county, in front of Arizona State Land, and get support from the businesses and the residents that's here. And I don't know if you've seen it or read it, but it's a very, spent a lot of time on it. And the team that we had worked on it to put transportation in its right spot, and there's 12 chapters, and that's a very big chapter. And I've taken a lead on that as we go forward with the county, as well as with Arizona State Land and with the community. So that's a big project. You can read these activities we've had with Pinal County. We do have a 23-24 study coming up, and they've got a consultant, and it's probably like 8 or 9 more months before it comes back to us. They're going to do traffic studies and look at the neighborhoods, look at the traffic flows, and it's not only just for traffic, but it's for walking and hiking as well. So we hope to get some information back that we can work on with the county to improve things and expand things. We've talked about prioritization with TAC, and Maxine is here. She's a part of the TAC committee. And I think that Maxine, can you just explain that there's 12 of you or so for the county?
Pardon?
How many TAC committee members are there?
There's 2 from each of the districts, so there's 10.
10, okay.
And the Transportation Advisory Committee has a system of providing for voting on projects in the entire county. So it's very important that these members show up at every Transportation Advisory Committee meeting. The other issue that's going on with that is it's funded by a special tax, and we're in like the 40th year of this tax. And it needs to be renewed, and it'll be on this next 2024 election ballot. And we really get behind it and push it, because that's what does the local projects in Mount County. Information, it'll be coming up a lot more on
Good.
weed demo.
Great, thanks, Maxine. Yeah, so that's really important to have somebody, two people in Gold Canyon who are our ombudsman and spearhead things. And they work, they make decisions for the whole county, but having people local really helps to get our needs in front of the committee. As you can see here, we've talked about the Sleepy Hollow traffic. We've got the Maverick station coming up. So we're talking to Maverick and the county, and we're just there we're not engineers. We're there to make sure it gets done right, just because there's so many things that get underfunded or not done right. And hopefully this will get done right. In Mountain Brook, speed bumps were added. I think that was a great addition. I don't know if any of you go along Sand Trap, but there's a lot of people that cross through Mountain Brook from now that there's a gateway to Peralta Trail. People come from across the street over into Mountain Brook, across Mountain Brook, and I'm not a side-by-side guy, but they go through. We never had that traffic before. Now we got a lot of traffic. So one of the things they did was put in these speed bumps, which are really graceful ones. They're actually they don't jar you like they do with bashes. They're actually they're very
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Thanks for selling that. And our friends at Adobe and us worked on the speed zone flashing lights at the school. And now we've been involved in Cloudview and the congestion there, and working on the long-term solution to change that to help the residents. Yes.
So to that point, Jerry, you may not know that we Cloudview residents have worked with Supervisor Surrey to have traffic counters there now. So
Okay.
we have a traffic counter at Cloudview and Whitetail, and another traffic counter down right by the trailhead. So
Great.
we got a measure of traffic.
Well, maybe outside this meeting we get some time, because I mean, we're, we know there's work being done, but if we can help, I mean, it sounds like you're dealing with Jeff and the same people we are. But let's stay in touch. Okay. Next thing. Let's go to ADOT. The second one, partnering with ADOT for the short and long-term Highway 60 changes. One of the frustrating things is we've got signage, we've got the signals put in, signals. Now they were adjusted. They weren't networked before. They were just kind of unintelligent ones. But to get to the next stage and get twin turn lanes or service road that goes through the community, it's very frustrating, because their process is you have to have a project and design it, and then it gets in for funding. So just to get it from our need to the project team, because there's a limited resource, we have not been able to do that. So we need to get together as a community, and hopefully this study will help us do that and say, hey, this has really got to be done, and raise the priority. Because you can be frustrated like we have been for many years, but until you know the process and work the system, you're not going to move the needle. And we also contributed to all the surveys that come out of EV stations and long-term planning. We're involved in all of those. And I'm very active in the East Valley Transportation Initiative, which is all the groups, including MAG, which MAG and the ADOT, as well as all the mayors and their the key planners for each county or for each city. So it's a very powerful group, and that's where big decisions are made. So we're in that planning circle, and well respected, because they know we've got hotspots here. Go ahead. I think you're all familiar with these sections, these intersections. Let's go to the next one, Dave. So what we want to do in 2024, we want to make sure that we've got a long-term transportation plan that fits with ADOT and with the county. And, we're ultimately going to get a special area plan, but a big part of that is going through with Arizona state land, and it's administrative. Plus, if we have a special area plan, and maybe I'm repeating what other people have talked about before, then we would have our own criteria for development and changes and things like that. Not quite like a city does, having a planning group, but it would have the rules of the road for what you could bring in from a development point of view. Next, as we mentioned before, working with the TAC group, we want to get in with safety needs and traffic hotspots where there's accidents or where there can be improvement for trails and interconnectivity between the communities. And those are things where, as Maxine said, there's special funding for that, but if you don't ask, you don't get it. So getting that list to ask is where we are. We're going to spend more time on that front end of this year. And again, quarterly meetings with ADOT. Go ahead, Dave. Now we've supported the north-south bypass, which is a long-term connection between here and Cacho Peak. We support that Hawk safety crosswalk at Kings Ranch Road, right across from the church, connecting to their facility where the food bank is. Other groups in this community don't support it. I'm not sure why, but we're very encouraged to do that, especially with more traffic coming with the Maverick. We think that pedestrian and bicycle safety is should stay in sync with that. Highway 24, which is going across, you've heard about all the development that's going on in Queen Creek and Apache Junction. Extending that highway from Ironwood all the way to 60 would give us a lot of relief. And there's a long story behind that, but GCCI is totally behind that because it'll give us more opportunities for his access and here. And the county taxes that we need for transportation, we're totally in support of that because we're at empty right now. And whether it's at the gas pump or whatever, or this half-cent sales tax, you know, we, especially on the ground, we just can't, we're suffering, we're going backwards where other states are funding it and going forwards, and it's affecting our quality of life here. That's fun.
What's the source of the current funding for transportation needs?
Well, there's,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What's the source, the current source of funding for transportation?
Okay, thank you.
Maxine's better at that than I am.
Transportation.
Yeah, the source for funding.
What's the current source of funding?
This tax,
There's an asset. Funds for projects. Highway use funds, money from the state. The state also gets 50 money.
So there's already a half% tax. As business increases, does that revenue not increase?
Yeah, but it's going to expire, right? That's the thing.
It can go away.
It's going to go away next year. So unless it's voted in, so it will go
How
down.
long is it? How long is it?
40 years.
40 years?
Yeah.
And it's about to expire.
It's about to expire every 20 years.
That's a market.
Yeah, yeah. So
Everybody that I talk to thinks it's an increase.
Yeah.
Actually, another half%.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
And
Thanks, Mike.
it's-
The other one.
Oh,
this is just to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Streets.
Just for those, yes, Rita.
You mentioned the MAG, Maricopa, the Agency of Governments, Association of Governments, whatever it was. Do we get any money out of that? Have we gotten, has Gold Canyon or Mount County gotten any money from the MAG? Because they give out $100 million every 3 years.
There, we have, all we've got is some signage, you know, they've got all the roads in Queen Creek and around Scottsdale and all the rest of it. They're doing 17 and 101 and 202. The lion's share goes there. We are at the meetings, but we don't really get much. Apache Junction is and Queen Creek is, but until we get these projects past the design stage, we don't get the money. So we used to be under CAG, the Central Area Government area of government,
Yeah.
and we used to have more attention. And then before my time, that was changed. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about this a little bit after the meeting.
Okay.
I talked to the deputy director today, Amy St. Peter,
Mhm.
at the TAG, or MAG.
Okay.
Sorry. She didn't even know who we were or what part of the planning infrastructure or planning lines we were in, and we are in there.
Yeah.
Not in Patch Junctions or Florence development area, planning area. We're in the MAGs.
Yeah.
The Maricopa County, and she didn't even know, she had to look on.
Yeah, I deal with Greg Byers and Mr. Anderson, and I don't know her, but
But the point is, it's not the people. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with people, it's a
No.
process problem.
Yeah.
And clearly, they didn't even know, and I asked what planning's been done for Gold Canyon recently,
Yeah.
you know, in the last 5-10 years, she said, none that I know of.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
oh, yeah. Thanks for making that call.
I'm sorry,
Thank you for making that call.
Well, I got-
Echoes what I do.
I got two more ideas after.
Okay. Well, let me get back to just, Maxine answered the question for those online, because I'm sure you didn't hear it all. Where's the funding come from? We have a 50-cent tax today, which expires next year, for county funding. And then we have, so we're right behind that to make sure that, that gets passed. Also, there's, state funding, and then there's federal funding. So that was the net of, our last conversation. Okay, and I think, again, participating in traffic planning, whatever comes up, I mean, that's the only way you're gonna get ahead of this game is, we're being reactive. We'd like to get ahead of that curve. We've got some, yes, Betty.
What has been the impact on Sleepy Hollow now that that road is open? I don't live down there, so I don't, I bicycle there, but I don't really know what is the traffic, what is that the impact since open?
Dick, do you have a perspective? Or Dave,
Yeah, a little bit. We had a meeting up a little while ago to figure out what to do in Sleepy Hollow Trail, that road where the fence is. It's kind of interesting. Everybody in the room, most of them didn't want a fence there, so there would be no people coming in and going down. And I think our guy said, I think 30 voted against that. Anyway, we lost. So there's gonna be people coming out. I live between where the fence was gonna be, east all the way to the end. I don't see any difference in traffic from any time of the year. It's, everybody goes the other way. So, I don't know a lot about going the other way. I can't imagine this.
but there was a community meeting where
Yeah.
that was talked about, and, remediation opportunity, things that you could do. And, so that's back end planning, because people question the survey and a lot of things, but, it's made a difference. Like I said, for Mountain Brook, where I live, it's made a difference, and there's more traffic. And now, some people want it just left the way it is. Don't put striping and safety, don't encourage people. And, there's different ranges.
But even the people in the new development are complaining because a lot of the ATVs you're talking about are cutting through there to get up to the Peralta Trail, and they're going through Peralta Canyon. And a lot of people are complaining about that. And I live further down west on Sleepy Hollow. And if you drive east, you'll see cars, and 3 out of 4 of them are gonna turn and go into Peralta Canyon. I mean, it's just, there is an increased amount of traffic there, definitely. And it was, and per their studies, Sleepy Hollow was already over capacity. So it's not a good situation. Ultimately, those people need another connection to 60. That's the ultimate solution, but I don't know how they can do it, because there's no design right now that'll make it work.
So you got one of those things, cause and effect, and, it is what it is. And so we're now trying to recover from that. Just, I know I've taken a lot of time, but I've got some of the people in the audience here working on our committee, and Ron's online, and Glenn is here, and Mike is here, and we've been able to move forward quite a bit and get a lot of different variety and inputs from different HOAs, which really makes a difference. So it's not just 1 or 2 people who are trying to move the mountain. So I'm about done. One thing that I'm the guy who worked on Liberty Utilities, so we could get our sewer rates reduced. Instead of going up 10%, they went down, and Glenn and I partnered on that. And we're also intervening on the water rate case, where they wanted 39 to 45% increase.
I think that deserves some applause, guys, because it's really a
So
fantastic
there's a
thing.
day job as well. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to meet you new people, but that keeps us busy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
So anybody who has an interest in transportation issues, see Jared, because They're,
Oh, I wrote, how do you spell your last name, Rita? I'm just gonna put that on here.
they're a busy group.
DOCAL.
They're a busy group.
We have it right here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ed.
I would like to talk.
Okay, okay, so you want to go up next?
Yeah, sure.
Let me see if I can bring yours. No, we were going to,
Is our Wi-Fi cutting out in one of the cities?
No, I know, I
No,
think
it's solid.
we got people here, you know.
That connects.
Oh, it's not connecting to there.
You got
Okay.
your HDMI there?
yeah.
I hope I didn't.
Maybe it timed out.
Okay,
no.
all right.
Nice going, Jerry. You talk so much.
Yeah, that's,
Everybody think about
somebody upstairs or somebody downstairs. I don't know. Pull the plug, right?
There we go.
Okay, great.
I just reported. Okay,
So as you're getting this up, let me just introduce myself here. It's Isabel Peterson. I'm the conservation person at GCCI. I took over from Charlie Goff. Some of you who've been here for a while know Charlie. He's a wonderful guy, works with SALT, Superstition Area Land Trust, and has done so for a long time. And I learned a lot in the beginning about conservation work in Gold Canyon from Charlie. And at first, I was thinking, wow, there must be something we can do, right? So conservation is a major challenge, especially in our area, because we're dealing with state trust land, we're dealing with the county, and this is precisely why we need representation for us, because we of course we think that Gold Canyon is very special, and we would like to have that special status and special consideration in terms of conservation issues here in our area. So it's a challenge. We actively work on solutions through research, through networking. Both Jerry and Dave have talked about that, representation and active advocacy for Gold Canyon. And this is kind of important because, you know, there is a difference between some people raising their hand saying, oh, we are just against this, and people really trying to network and becoming a voice for Gold Canyon that is being heard, if that makes any sense. So that's what we're trying to do, representing the interests of Gold Canyon when it comes to conservation and of course all the other issues. In my major committee here, I have like three legs. One is desert conservation, and this is where it gets back to Charlie. Charlie taught me a lot about this. But the truth is that in the past few decades, ever since SALT has been active, they did a lot of wonderful work, but my question was when I came on board, is this work being heard? And the answer that as far as I could find is not to the extent I would like it to be heard. You know, those of you who've been in the area for a while, you know that SALT published a really, really good report about the area's reasons for conservation. Some people say it was integrated into the general plan of Pinal County. I'm looking at the general plan. I can't find integration. Okay, so this is why I was thinking we kind of need different approaches. So what do? I don't do it personally, but these gentlemen next to me here, they go to the Board of Supervisor meetings to monitor proposed code changes, because these happen all the time. And you might recall in 2020, we had the Rivian scare. Actually, two people here in the room, Glenn Legis and I, at the time joined the Gold Canyon Homeowners Alliance. You might recall that was a grassroots movement to oppose those code changes, which would have meant that we are dealing with an industrial complex just east of Peralta Road. Obviously, we did not want that, and obviously didn't happen. We kind of want to think that our activism had something to do with that. That made me think, okay, having a voice and making this voice heard in reasonable ways actually produces results. So that's what we're trying to do, producing results in terms of conservation, because we want this area to be conserved. We don't want industrial development. We don't want any residential development, at least not in the sense that we've seen, you know, coming from the south. So we feel we're special and we kind of wanna keep that way. So we've joined lots of conservation groups. We go to meetings, we go to conferences, and obviously we're in contact with SALT. There is the Central Arizona Conservation Alliance, also known as CASCA. There is the Pinal Partnership Open Space Committee. There is the Superstition Region Public Land Managers Group, a group that I personally find absolutely fantastic because you get into contact with like-minded people who are all trying the same thing, namely finding solutions for all kinds of areas in Pinal County. Let's see, then we have the Pinal County's Open Space and Trails Department and others. So we're trying to keep in contact with people because, you know, some people come up with new ideas. We want to know about these ideas. We want to incorporate them. Where do we incorporate them? This is where this Gold Canyon Community Plan comes into play. That's right now in circulation. It's a draft, so it's in circulation for review. We made suggestions. I wrote the conservation chapter. Some people have said, well, it looks a lot like the SALT plan. It does, because it uses a lot of the arguments that SALT was using and a lot of the research that SALT was using, but it comes to different conclusions. And it comes to a list of 8 goals, all of which are supported by very specific policy suggestions. And you know, if you're interested in conservation, I'd like you to actually really read this and see whether it's conclusive to you. We think these are very good goals and policy suggestions, and we've discussed those with county staff. And ever since we've discussed those, suddenly we're hearing things coming back from county staff, namely special area plan. That came up in a meeting that we very early on had, even before the plan was written, with county staff, where we said we'd kind of like to see something specifically for Gold Canyon that's based on major conservation ideas. And then they said, okay, how about a special area plan? So we're kind of looking at that right now. Another suggestion that came up through research was that we should have a special set of ordinances that's known as environmentally sensitive land ordinances, or short ESLO. And I came across this notion when I looked at how other cities in our area are doing things in terms of conservation. And I noticed that Scottsdale actually has the so-called hillside ordinance, which is an ESLO, environmentally sensitive land ordinance. And so again, I brought this up, and guess what? Now we're hearing back from the county that they looked at the hillside ordinance in Scottsdale. The hillside ordinance, by the way, and I need my cheat sheet here in order to let you know, is what eventually led to the creation of the McDowell Sonoran Preserve. That was an area of 30,000 acres, which is now protected. We have 12,000 acres we need protected. I think that is a very good model to follow. And so, see, we're bringing up these ideas, and some of them come back from the county and might find fruition. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited about this. Anyway, also in that chapter, you know, it was high time that somebody actually provided a list of special status wildlife species. We didn't have that before. Now we do have it. It's in the chapter. And again, these look at the goals for conservation. I think you'll agree they're pretty good. Let's see. What else did we do? Really quick, we entered a volunteer agreement with the Peralta Regional Park. So that means that we're going to help clean up things, because we believe it's a step in the right direction. I know, of course, all the arguments against the park, but it's there. We were not involved in creating it. That's been in the works for a very long time. Now that it's there, it's great for conservation. If you've seen it, I think you will agree It's a marvelous concept. We do support the natural restorations events. They have twice per year Peralta Road cleanups. There's one coming up December 2nd, everybody. If you have nothing to do, it's it's from 8 to 11. It's extremely well organized. They give you all kinds of equipment, and you just walk in the desert and you pick up trash. So something to mark your calendars with. So that's it for conservation. A big deal was to write the chapter for the plan. The second big deal is that, as Dave has mentioned, we are going for an official dark sky community designation. And it's with an organization that's called Dark Sky International, formerly known as International Dark Sky Association. So if you've heard that term before, it's the same organization. We applied 80 pages. It's pretty harrowing, I can tell you. Lots of detail in here, but we're getting really good feedback, not just from the community. By the way, there is a Facebook group that I'd like to draw your attention to, and it is called, let me see, it is called, I have it right here, Gold Canyon Dark Sky AZ. We went from 20 members to almost 100 members within just a couple of months, ever since I've started talking about Gold Canyon as a dark sky community. So if you want to support it that way, please do. All kinds of ways to become involved, but we got feedback from Dark Sky International recently that was very encouraging. That the reviewer said if we just finish like one little thing that we still owe, he will recommend to the committee approval of our application. So it looks like sometime next year or perhaps the year after, we will be an international dark sky community. And some people are afraid of that. It's the subject of a different meeting. I don't want to talk too much about that right now here. It doesn't take that much, just very mindful outdoor lighting, that's all. And following the already dark sky friendly ordinance that Pinal County has. Yes.
Excuse me, just a question.
Yes.
What is the geographical boundaries? We say that we're going to be Gold Canyon is a dark sky community.
Right.
What are the geographical boundaries that you think is in that?
Pretty much the lower boundary will be US 60, and just like a small stretch along south of US 60, but very narrow, and including EDO, Entrada del Oro. And starting with Bashas, basically, that entire area, and then going up to the Superstition Mountains to the park, because the park itself is going for the International Dark Sky Park designation with the same organization. And of course, we're working with them. We're also we're working with Apache Junction, because they are going for, help me out, Dark Sky Park, let's see, Dark Sky Place designation, because they can't be a community because they're a little too light. So there are all kinds of hierarchies within those designations. Okay,
They're working on Silver Mountain becoming a dark sky. So
Right.
that would be like the western border of.
Basically, it's the same geographical, you call it the same geographical area that Gold Canyon Community Inc. says, hey, this is
Pretty
our
much,
area.
yeah.
right. But we usually include Queen Valley in our area. Oftentimes we do, not always. Okay. In this particular case, we did not. Okay, because we were afraid that the county whose support we needed for that, and we got it actually, would say, well, what about this? And so I kind of didn't want to discuss that. So we said, okay, so let's include EDO, and that's it, because that was pretty straightforward for Gold Canyon. Okay. Also, the town of Oracle in southern Pinal County is also pursuing dark sky designation. And so we are working with them also. And at one point, we are hoping that we can kind of blanket entire Pinal County with dark sky status. So let's see. That's that. And then the third area that we are working on is water resources. And Dick is our specialist in this, but I'm just going to summarize it really quickly here. We all agree water is an essential element for us to survive in our desert environment. And we are all listening to media. We're all reading news articles about water shortages. And so we thought, okay, so what can we here in Gold Canyon do? And so we invite people to talk to us about what the Central Arizona Project situation is. As you know, that's a system that delivers water from the Colorado River. So we had a presentation on that. We had other presentations from our local water provider, Arizona Water Company. All of these presentations actually can be seen on our website under the conservation tab. This is what's showing right here. Okay, so if you're not following me or if you want to look something up, you can watch these presentations on the website. We partnered with Arizona Water Company for a program called Water More Precious Than Gold. It's an information campaign, basically, a water conservation program tailored to the needs and conditions of Gold Canyon. So we invite you to follow those things on social media. We invite you to come to the workshops that they're offering. The next workshop, as we mentioned before, is on December 9th. It's from 10 to 12 a.m., so it's a morning. It's a longer workshop, but it's promising to be very special because it's not one of their staff members actually talking about the irrigation issues that we are facing here in the issue. It's an expert that they have been sending to all kinds of communities like City of Chandler and so on. And they say it's absolutely excellent. I trust them on that. Okay, so I'm hoping that we get lots of people attending this. And of course, Arizona Water Company is making landscape and irrigation audits available to HOAs in Gold Canyon. So if you are part of an HOA who might be interested in that, you know, find the contact information for Arizona Water Company on here and ask for one. So they're doing that free of charge, and we are kind of curating it. So that's what we've been doing in terms of conservation, everyone. Lots of work. Hopefully, we'll see some results.
Dick,
Thank
did you
you.
have anything to add on the water front?
Not with respect to-
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you also deal with 404 wash and the waters of the US, the federal government?
No, that would be something that Dick would be very interested in, because Dick is in the, you know, what he called the big picture. You know, we're all concerned about water stuff, right? So at GCCI, so far, we've looked at what can we do here locally, okay? I'm a little hesitant to take on the entire Southwest as the water problem, you know, that's because I trust me, I'm busy enough with what we're doing here. But Dick, you are interested in the big picture, so that might be something.
We second it up is because it impacts our development planning, because we're, you know, the salt or the Superstition Mountain has horrible washes coming out of them, going through my community. You know, and it's all federal, and you have to, the Corps of Engineers have to do anything that does that. And every wash, and then of course, the Superstition Mountain Range is a big feeder.
It is.
Of the waters of the US, the waterways, which feed into the Colorado River, which is a US named waterway. So anybody that impacts, any development or individual that impacts the water running off the Superstition Mountain right through Gold Canyon has to follow those federal laws. And so in our planning, I would say that we have to absolutely discuss that.
We
and
do.
add to the list.
We do actually. It is part of chapter 2 of the community plan, you know, and so I'm very protective of our washes. So was Salt. Obviously, Salt has in their plan, you know, a very nice map system. They at the time hired a professional consultant who did that, right? And so you know, obviously we want to see that happen. But when you look at newer developments, developments like Peralta Canyon. Some of the washes have been conserved, but not with the same seriousness that Peralta Trails did. Okay, so Peralta Trails is the HOA I live in, and one of the reasons that I was attracted to it was of all the natural open space in it. So we kind of were hoping that Peralta Canyon would do the same thing, and they didn't. Okay, so obviously there are ways around that. And when we were looking at Entrada del Oro, we could also see that they were using like a canal system to redirect the natural flow of the washes there. That to me is not okay. You know, I would like to not do that, but obviously it's possible under the supervision of Pinal County. So this is why we need people to pay attention to this kind of stuff. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, I want to briefly talk about Dale, even though he's not with us today, he wanted to share a couple of items on what he's been doing as far as parks and recreation. Some of his accomplishments. Again, we participated in the opening ceremonies of Peralta Regional Park. We actually had one of our public meetings, our community meetings, we actually held at the park. We also had an astronomy event out there because the park has a stargazing node. So we wanted to try to highlight that for the community, let folks know it. And that was well attended. We have over 50 people showed up for that. So that was a pretty good event. As was mentioned, we participate in the volunteer agreement with the county for the regional park whenever they need someone to help, do some cleanup or, trash pickup. They call on us and we'll go out and do that. The Foothills HOA, they just became a Firewise community. They're the second community in Gold Canyon that is Firewise. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a program through like the Forest Service and the local fire district on how a community can maintain their area around the community to keep it safe from wildfires. And so that's something that Adobe has picked up and they're highlighting. So, but it has to be done like HOA by HOA. It's too massive to try to do a whole community. So if any of your HOAs want to get that kind of designation, because it could have an effect on your homeowner's insurance. So that could be a plus financially for individuals, but that's very important because wildfires around here, they can get out of control real quick. So this program gives homeowners the capability to work around their property to maintain so it doesn't become a fire hazard. So Dale was really informed on that. Let's see. Oh yeah, Dale was very interested in the Goldfield recreational area, which is a BLM property. There's a lot of issues with illegal camping out there and that kind of stuff. A lot of dumping of trash and stuff. And the BLM has been working to, they're actually changing that to recreation only. So they're eventually going to, in fact, the next couple of months, start letting people know that it's not okay to camp out there. It's only going to be for day use recreation. So that's a big issue. And Dale was involved in all those meetings, and so that's all of his presentation. And like I said, he's been very active in and trying to get designated bike lanes. And Don Donnelly was the main avenue to focus on because people speed through there. And even though there are designated bike lanes, you know, people drive in that. So anyways, at least we got some designations, some signage up there, and that might help. Okay, so I think that's all. I don't think we have any other presentations that we need. I think that's all. All right.
Good.
So, what we'd like to do now is move into, as part, every year we elect new board members. Board members sit for 2-year terms, but we have the advantage of having staggered terms now, where people are coming in and leaving at different times. So right now, Dale has elected not to run for another term. His wife wants him to stay home more and to travel and visit the grandkids. So he's going to stay active as a member, but he elected not to be on the board. But Isabel is up for re-election for another term. She's agreed to run for at least one more term. And Maxine Brown, who was on the board, and she had to leave us for some health issues, and but she wants to get back into it. And I approached her and said, "Well, how about coming back?" She said, "Okay." So we're going to call for an election to bring Maxine back and Isabel. And we also, in the interim, we tried to fill we've got, I think, up to 12 or 15 slots available for the board. So we have plenty of slots available. But when people come in on the interim of this, people approach us wanting to get on the board, and we have a process where the board can appoint new board members to fill those slots. So we have in the interim brought in Glenn Ligas, who wanted to join us, and also Mike DeRosa. And so the board elected to bring them in as an appointment, but I'd like to put their names up as well, just to make it official for the members to vote. So I'm assuming most everybody here is a board member of GCCI. So generally our rules are that the only people that can vote for our board members are actual members of GCCI. It just makes sense. Yeah, it's just one of the perks of being a member of GCCI. So anyways, I would like to propose, I think, let's just put it out as a slate for those 4 individuals. Do I have anybody who would like to second the nomination of
I'll be
those
glad to
4?
second that. Yep, I'll second that motion.
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're all board members. All right.
Well, I think it'd be good to give like a little bit of background from
Sure,
Glenn and Mike, and just so those remembers that
sure.
this hasn't been like today, somebody walked in the door and we said,
Yeah,
hey,
oh,
you're
yeah.
a board member.
Yeah,
So I think it'd be great if you.
yeah. Like I said, we do have a process for new board members.
Yeah.
People who approach us would like to get on the board in the interim of these annual meetings. We have a little application form to fill out, just collecting some background information. Then we have a nominating committee made up of Dick and myself, and usually one other board member. And we interview the folks, and then that nominating committee brings it to the full board for the vote to bring on for these interim type positions. So
Glenn and Mike, just.
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah,
campaigning starts. Oh, you're already in? Oh, okay.
Like I said, Mike and Glenn approached us and, boy, their backgrounds are phenomenal and they're a great asset. So you guys want to
Sure.
talk about yourself?
Thank you. I've lived in Gold Canyon since 2021. I wanted to get involved here because it's two things. I want the community to thrive, and I also wanted to meet people, not just the people that live next to me. I spent about 40 years owning restaurants in the Eau Claire, Wisconsin area. So I've done a lot of development of real estate and things like that. At one time, about 800 or 900 people working for me. So that was always fun. I spent 20 years as the chairman of the redevelopment authority for Eau Claire, Wisconsin, that we redeveloped the downtown area. I would tell anybody to get on the website for Eau Claire, take a look at what we look like now. Because 20 years ago, it was basically a ghost town. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And so I met all you people. I came to a couple of meetings. And I enjoyed the transportation area. I happen to have a son who works for a big firm over in LA, and that's sort of his thing. So it gives me something to talk to him about, and I get some brilliant advice, and I pretend it's my own. So yeah, and I just wanted to be able to do it. 2 years is fine. I've got other commitments that keep me just a reasonably active member, but I have a lot of fun with it, and thanks for putting me on board.
My name is Glenn Wiggins. I've lived in Gold Canyon since 2016. My wife's lived here since 2015. So I commuted for a year. Since I've been here, I've worked, as Jerry mentioned, on the Liberty Sewer rate application. I worked on that twice. The first time it was just EDL, and the second time was the entire Gold Canyon area. And we ended up with a pretty good result from that. And now we're currently working on the Arizona water application and see where we come out on that. So I've been a little involved. I was very involved, as Phil mentioned, with the land trust thing we had going on a couple of years ago. And, spoke in the community many times, went to many board of supervisors meetings, many planning and zoning commission meetings. Gave those folks a hard time and made them laugh at my persistence. So it seemed like a thing to do. I will have it on record that I did not ask to be put on the board. I was badgered into putting an application in.
You're not from Wisconsin.
Oh,
But anyway, it's an honor to be here and try to help and seem to fit with what I've been trying to do. Yeah.
Welcome.
Maxine, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
I'd be happy to. I've been in Arizona just almost my entire life. I was raised in Yuma, and went to school system in Yuma. Been in Gold Canyon since year 2001. And I've lived in the same house. I love it here. Before I retired, I was 20 years with the Arizona Association of Governors, working very closely with Ag. Before that, I was back in the Midwest for 5 years and operated some restaurants back over. So I know the restaurant business good at the time. And before that, I was a town manager in Southeastern Arizona. I was the first female municipal manager in Arizona.
Wow.
I was from a tiny community, so I got to go to all the state legislative committees. As female, rural community town manager.
Use
Every energy and involved. And it's been a pleasure to be part of this. Doing a great job.
Say anything more than you said?
Real briefly, I've been an Arizona resident for 30 years. I came over from Germany, so this is my home country really, where I just came back from actually Germany and France. It's still terribly suffering from jet lag. But let's see. I'm retired ASU faculty. I taught humanities classes for a long time, and just retired this past May, and I'm very happy about that. Let's see. I got active. I got a wake-up call about planning issues and that stuff. I never thought I'd get involved with this, but when the Rivian project came about in 2020, that really shook me to the core, and I thought, nope, it's not going to happen. And then you look into what you can do, how you can use your particular skill set to help prevent something like that in the future. And I love it here. I've known the Gold Canyon area for decades through hiking, because I came out to the Peralta Trailhead quite often, regularly, and so eventually moved out here. I live in Peralta Trails, and absolutely love it. So I'd like it to stay the way it is, and if it does have to change, I'd like it to be under great consideration that we take care of our cacti and that we take care of our open space and those things. So no major industry and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll fight. How do you say that? Tooth and nail before that happens. Okay. Anyway, that's me.
Okay, anybody online? Got a couple of people left online that would like to make a comment or.
If possible, I would. My name's Andy Cash. Just let me know when a good time is.
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank everybody tonight. I'm new to Gold Canyon. We moved here. We bought a home in December. So, but what I've noticed is a huge increase in trash from Superstition, at least till Silly Mountain, if not till Mountain View, in the westbound lane on Highway 60. And I'm not asking anybody to do anything about it. I want to do something about it. I just don't know what to do. Do we need to get a hold of ADOT to seek permission or a permit for community members to go out there and get some trash bags? I've seen it done in other states and other counties where community members pick up. I see some ladies do it on Superstition, but not on actual Highway 60. But it's absolutely filthy. I've never seen so much trash in the last 3 to 4 months. It just keeps accumulating, and I don't see it westbound from Peralta, but mainly Superstition, like it's blowing out of the back of people's trucks and no one's stopping to pick it up. It's quite a comment on Facebook on Gold Canyon community, and people are asking what to do, and I just don't know what to do. I'm willing to go out there and pick it up, but I don't know how to set up an event or post something or pick a date. But does anybody have any ideas about that?
Dean does.
Yeah, Andy, this is Jerry Stevenson.
Oh.
Oh, okay, Maxine, go ahead.
I was just going to say that Arizona Department of Transportation has an adopt a highway program, and you can a mile that becomes 2 miles if you have to go both ways. But they'll be glad to put a sign up that says who's adopted the highway. They'll furnish you with a vest and all, and it's a great program.
And we have two organizations here in Gold Canyon that actually did that, that participated. One is Adobe. They have their mile, right? And the other one is what's it called? The Desert Nature Alliance. Okay, they have another mile. The Desert Nature Alliance has the one right in front of Silly Mountain. Since you were asking about, specifically about that area. And so I don't know how active either of them are. I just know that they are doing this ADOT program of Adopt a Mile, okay, or Adopt a Highway.
I also noticed that on ADOT's roads, they actually hire people to go out. I mean, I see them on 60
should request that.
all the time. I don't know. I don't see them very often out our way on 60, but generally through Apache Junction.
Yeah, Glenn.
My wife runs the Entrada del Oro group. We have from our neighborhood out to 60 on El Camino Viejo. And yeah, we get They supply the vests, they supply the trash grabbers, so you don't have to handle stuff with your hands. They supply the garbage bags. You accumulate it all, you stash it in a drop zone, they come and pick it up the following week, because we usually do it on a Saturday. They come and grab it the next weekend.
We also,
And we do it twice a year.
well, GCCI also owns some along Peralta Trail. So we probably ought to do another one here this fall.
Andy, this is Jerry, Jerry Stevenson. Could you, I've got a meeting with coming up. Could you give me the specifics again of where your concern
So
is?
if you're going down Superstition and you're making a right-hand turn westbound from Highway 60, at least until Mountain View, and then obviously the freeway gets big, but it's from Superstition on 60 westbound past Silly Mountain turnout to Mountain View. I mean, you could see that it's somebody's trash that they recently had their house painted and people were taping off windows. It's plastic, it's garbage bags. And again, I'm not asking anybody to do this work. I just don't know how to plan a day where people can get together. And I see a couple of gals do it. Like I said, they got the safety vests and they're probably doing it on their own. I just don't want to have a trooper stop me. I would go out there and work my way from Silly Mountain eastbound, but in the westbound lane. But I don't want to get stopped and cause any concerns. But there's 49 comments in Gold Canyon community on Facebook about what to do, and people are calling a trash company, and I don't know the name, and it's irrelevant, but to make complaints. But I just want to get it picked up, because me being a new member, I can tell you it hasn't been this way. I mean, when we bought out here in December, there was no trash on the freeway. And it's increasingly getting worse. And I just want to, if somebody's willing to post something, or that, I don't belong to any social medias myself, but I just trying to figure out if I need to get a hold of Pinal County, or is that something to do through ADOT, if they would supply the bags, and tell me what to do and I'll do it.
What we could do, Andrew, is in our notes, we'll make sure you're on our email list, so on our notes for today's meeting, we'll include the Adopt Highway program contact information. So then what you can do is contact, if you want to circle back with us, we could help you with putting it on social media, that you're organizing this. Because we have access to all the community pages for seeing this, and I saw it too on Gold Canyon community page where people were noticing this. So what we'll do is we'll put that information in there. Would you mind taking a look and contacting and kind of getting a date or getting it established, and then that way we can go ahead and post it out there, get more people to join.
Yeah.
Sure.
Andy,
And then if someone can give me, I am on the email list, so I do get the regular notifications about tonight's meeting. But I want to make sure I'm not stepping on the toes of the current people that have the Adopt a Highway, and maybe they just they need some support. And so if the highway's been adopted by somebody and they need some help, then it's, many hands make light work. And I would not want to interfere with what they have going on, but perhaps just be a guy who grabs trash and puts it in a bag. And that's kind of what I want to do.
I'll see some.
Yes. Yeah, so there are, what we spoke of is other areas, so that section is not adopted yet,
yeah.
so it needs adopted.
Well,
Okay.
Andy, this is Jerry. If I'm Gerald B. Stevenson on there. If
I
I'll
see
get
it. Yes.
I'll get your email, and I'll call ADOT tomorrow and get them on the fast path, because we'll say this is a danger, and then I think we need the short term to be cleaned up, and then we adopt a highway plan. And if need be, I'll get the people from Apache Junction to echo our request to put some more muscle in it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm sending you my cell phone number and my email address right now, Mr. Stevenson.
Great. Thanks. Okay. Andy.
That is by Silly Mountain there, that mile of the Bashes is already adopted, but I think it's business, but I'm not gonna say it because I don't.
Sometimes those groups aren't active.
They're not active, right? Yeah, I think it's State Farm actually.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm almost positive I see it right there by Silly Mountain going east. And what the issue is on that piece of road and the US 60, which is they have a highway crew that comes regularly. You can't do that twice a year. You gotta do that at least twice a month, because there's so much trash. I've been behind trucks and landscapers, the stuff is flying out because they don't cover their trailers, and they must cover their trailers, but they don't. And no one actually gives anybody a penalty for that. You know, there's all kinds of ordinances in Mount County I found that no one has, there's no consequences for any of this stuff. And, there was a mattress out there, not too long ago either, as you're approaching US 60, you know, on the side of the road for the longest time. And, so if that company that has that mile isn't active, I think then they should switch to something else to be active. And it has to be done more than.
Yeah.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. We'll
Thank
work
you.
on-
And please, if anybody, I'm not trying to shove off any work. You tell me where to pick the bags up, and I'm not about organizing, I'm about just getting it done. So if someone, I want to put my money where my mouth is. So please contact me, my number's in there. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Great,
Thanks, Andy.
okay.
How about you, Ron? Did you have anything?
Yeah, I've been listening. I had some initial trouble getting connected, but it is hard for a typical Zoom kind of comment. It's hard to understand a conversation in a large room because it's echoing and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think well, I'm sure I missed something, but I'm not sure what. If I knew what I missed, then I guess I wouldn't have missed it. But I'm going to want to keep working on transportation as my focus. It's kind of my comfort zone. I was curious, and particularly as again about hearing the Firewise. Is there anybody in GCCI or who's making contacts with HOAs, or how does that magic happen?
Actually, Adobe is the focal point on that.
So how that's working is each of the HOAs their board individually have to take it on and work directly with forestry. And the forestry comes out and gives an assessment, and then the HOA has to work with the homeowners to get them to participate. And that's what, Rita's Community Superstition Mountain, Country Club is Firewise certified, and then the board of directors for Superstition Foothills, Karen McGinnis and Ava, took it on to lead the effort. And so Superstition Foothills, their common areas, their homes and so forth to be Firewise certified. So each of the HOAs have to step up to do that.
We have,
Okay.
we have contact information, Ron, for the Forest Service, which really is the driving influence on that. And they're the ones that actually have access to grants to help finance some of this. So if you need that kind of information, I can feed that to you.
Okay, so I'm not on the board anymore, but if I were to tickle the board to get involved on this, who would I call? I guess that's basically a Forest Service or Adobe.
Well, Adobe's gonna send you the same information I have for the Forest Service.
Okay.
So I will send you the gentleman's information.
Okay.
And that'd be the place to start.
Yeah,
Hey, Ron,
good, thank you.
Ron, it's Jerry. You know, we're in the same HOA. I've talked to Tom Beavers, because they got, I think it was $200,000 was the number that I heard for remediation of vegetation and Firewise money from a grant. And they've got 3 or 4 years to use it. So that's something that I think we should bring up again with our own people, you know, because that's a great opportunity in Mountain Brook.
Yeah, it's just how do we, since now you're on the planning committee, I guess you're kind of better wired to do that sort of thing too. So I'm just looking for ways of getting the people in the HOA ours in particular, but maybe in general, how to start the conversation from an organizational standpoint.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be Tom Peterson and Richard Blanchard, yeah, and the grounds. Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
I should
Thank you.
Yeah, if you got some current information, send it to me and we'll make sure it gets to,
Okay.
they're busy people too.
Okay.
Okay, so we've done, everybody online has commented. Do we have any audience questions? Did you want to open it up to the floor?
My vote is communication.
Yeah.
So
Go,
let's, I think Scott has some.
Oh, okay, got it.
One of the reasons I came here to see this was, I've been in contact with Michael here, Mike De La Rosa. And I really expected there to be like 50, 60, 70 people here tonight. I really did. So I would imagine this organization, and I'm not a little familiar with what does it take to become a member of GCCI?
Just let me know you want to be a member.
Okay, there's no membership dues or?
No.
nothing like that? Okay. So anyway, what I would like to do is, since I have a media vehicle to publicize the meetings and just GCCI overall, because many people, I talked to like 7 of my neighbors today. I just wanted to pull them, if they knew anything about GCCI. They had no clue. And I'm sure this is prevalent around other communities other than Brawls Trails where I reside. So what I wanted to do is work with the board and put together a couple of public service announcements, basically. And they can be, since this is a nonprofit and my organization, Volcanic Public Radio is a nonprofit, we could have a 2-minute announcement blurb that goes on the air at least once in a while, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, explaining what this group does, what it stands for, and that it's, you know, bipartisan. We in Gold Canyon, we have so many silos, which is unbelievable. We have Gold Canyon Strong, we've got the Gold Canyon Chamber, we've got Adobe, and we have GCCI. I think that covers it all. But there's so many different silos in this small community. And so I think we really, since we have so many new residents in Gold Canyon, primarily in the Carlton Canyon area behind Carlton Trails where I reside, people really, you know, they're not aware of this. They're not, even though I see there's emails going out, there's things in the superstition living, things like that. But you know, I would love to be, you know, part of the propensity of people to become involved, engaged, and be here for these meetings and their input. I know it's going to become much more. Many more voices will be here, and the meetings may get a little lengthier and things like that. But I would love to have our radio station in the community here. And it is a community radio station. Not everybody's familiar with it. We have businesses that have been with us since we signed on August 7th of 2014. One of them being the Lori Plank Real Estate Association. Very important. And so, and our reach is going to increase here in a matter of weeks. We're actually putting together our new antenna system. As soon as we have just a little bit more donor money. We accept donations. We're a public radio station. We on an annual basis, to give everybody a little idea, we have about 300 to 350 individual donors. We have about 20 to 22 businesses that donate. Some donate even in this community. They're anonymously as well. We're not anonymous. One of the companies, large companies that donates to KRWB-FM is CenturyLink. They just donated $5,000. So they're actually going to be the ones that are actually going to allow us to purchase this new antenna system in a couple of days, actually. So if there's somebody that wants to work with me, I would love, and I think the plan would, again, is going to be really helpful for me to put together some verbiage or whatever. And we can let people know that this organization is around and what we're doing and who's behind it. And it's just community engagement. That's what it really is all about.
Awesome.
Scott, last month,
Awesome.
this place was packed last month.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah, but
I
it's just-
didn't know that.
But basically, for this this was our annual meeting for members to basically elect the board and that kind of stuff. And so a lot of the invite went out to the members, because that they have a stake in this. But like next month, we're gonna have the gentleman that helped put together the McDowell,
So,
Well, right, and we
Same
can
thing,
cater,
so-
we can customize every
Yeah.
month, every meeting that this group
Okay.
has.
Yeah.
And include who's gonna be a speaker, what we're gonna talk about.
Oh, well,
things like that.
it's
yeah,
great.
awesome,
I
really. Yep.
appreciate that, yeah.
That's
Fantastic.
super. That's great news, Scott.
Thank you.
Let's think about the best way to communicate to make it simple for you, because getting the message out, like you do on social media and friends of friends and email, get you so far, but to get out and have some announcements and some voices and more awareness, we all need that. All of us at Gold Canyon to get together, get those silos. It still may be there, but you can get across communications.
And the other thing I think is also is, as everybody knows, on Sunday, the Gold Canyon Chamber had their business expo, and it was not very good, wasn't attended very well. But, some of the business owners should be here too as well. They
thank
should
you.
take some ownership here. So I can definitely help get our business underwriters, and they're calling them, I'm called advertisers, and called business underwriters, get them here too as well. To engage.
Well, that's critical. We've worked with Lisa and tried to get more traction with the businesses and getting out there, because this area plan is critical. I mean, and we've got homeowner and HOA representation. They're very shallow business input, right? And we've had that group on Wednesday. There's about 20 individual business owners. I don't know that they're part of the chamber, but they're all engaged, and they've given us their input. But the broader business community, we haven't been able to reach.
It is kind of unfortunate, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, no one else's. It's just unfortunate that we have so many different, just fragmented groups, and one or two of them, I hate to say this, is very, very, partisan. So let's say that, one of them is actually two of them are very partisan. And I witnessed a very personal, very bad experience at the expo on Sunday, me personally, by a individual that's with one of the organizers of that PR personal chamber. So, this group is always, I've always heard positive things. I was here in the early developmental stages, when Roberto was here, he was president and so forth. So I think we should this group should take the high road, be as inclusive as possible, as engaging as possible, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be kind of biased and wanting to really help this group grow as well, and be the leading voice of Gold Canyon. I think it's
Well, Scott, where have you been?
Yeah, have another piece of cake.
initially. I own 3 businesses. The radio station is the smallest business.
Oh, okay.
that I own, and I put on large events around the United States. I've done large women's expos.
Oh, wow.
And health and wellness expos.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said on my large show at the convention center on Saturday. So I'm extremely busy, but this time of year, I've got about 4 months where honestly, I feel like I'm retired for 4 months out of the year. So I have a lot of time on my hands right now. So, yeah.
Well, Scott, since you've made contact with Mike,
Right.
well, let's have Mike be your primary
That'd
contact.
be awesome.
Is that, Mike, is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's
But I think
let's get
the
some.
first step I'd really like to do is formulate some kind of announcement to the community that this group exists and what they do and what the 2024 plan is, and invite everybody to be a part of it. Direct them to the website, and if they can't be here, get them on the Zoom, and hopefully we'll get that screen full of 30 people.
And I have a PowerPoint that we use at the HOA meetings. So it gives an overview of GCC9.
Yeah.
We can work
Yeah,
together.
and I think-
and dish out.
And I think you have a mission statement too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be helpful too.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And then as we form agendas in our next meeting, so we can share that with you for announcing our next meeting. Yeah, because Dave's right, the town hall that we just had, that's just one example. We had a piece on trash collection, you know, and the raising rates, that was well attended. So it goes with the topic of the
Yeah.
meeting, but your help would be fantastic, and it's really gonna lead us into Betty's going to talk about. It's about manpower, right? You run 4 businesses, we all have, you know, so it's great to get more involved because that's going to help us get the word out. More.
Yeah, as far as, I just gave a little feedback from listeners that call in, some call in once a month, some people call in twice a week, and we have, like this week, for instance, we've already had like 17 people. The biggest topic of conversation from the community that I hear, and guy calls me the mayor, I said, no, I'm not the mayor, I'm just a person that is trying to be helpful to the community and get information out. But the biggest thing is everybody wants information about the bypass. And the 24 coming around, Jeff Surdy, our district supervisor, 5th district supervisor, has been on the radio station, and he's on there on a quarterly basis. And hopefully it's 2 to 3 years off, but 24 eventually, hopefully will get connected to Peralta. And that's the ideal situation, so we can have a bypass for the Renaissance Festival as well. But that's top of mind for everybody. And as of late, there's been some, I don't think people have seen anything on Nextdoor lately. There's been some vehicles stolen out of people's front yards
Driveways,
and
yeah.
their driveways. And there's also a big squatters concern. A lot of people are concerned about squatters in the Peralta Regional Park. But also homelessness in general in Bolt Canyon, which is, I've lived out here since 1995. It really has not been an issue until the last year and a half. So we've got some other issues that are real concerned. People are very concerned about
And
homelessness.
And that's gonna get worse because
Oh,
when
yes.
when BLM closes that down.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Anyways,
We got Rita and Betty.
Hmm?
Did you want to make some comments? I think we went around the table.
yeah, I think what we want to do is kind of move into our board meeting. We want to talk about our communication plan with
Great
Betty.
segue.
right?
Yes.
Well, Rita.
So, Scott, you're absolutely right, and we do have a communication plan that's all about having the manpower to do all those different facets.
Shut this thing
So
down.
that's fantastic, because Betty stepped forward to volunteer to really help with communication. And so Betty, I